everybody, Nick here with Starfall Sabers, and this is Starfall Original number 5. And this I built because one of my clients whose commission spot came up, they needed a refund, which, the deposits are non-refundable, but what I will do is when your spot comes up in line, if you are having troubles or whatever and just need the money back, then I will build something that I know typically will sell, and then once it sells, you'll get your deposit back. So I foresee that happening a bit for people who have ordered, a year or two ago, just because whatever, things come up, that happens. But what it allows me to do is build something with no creative restraints, and so it's kind of a win-win. It's fun for me, people get their deposit back, and then someone gets to pick up a one-of-one saber with 0 weight. So it's kind of a win-win all around. Or, for those who are waiting for what they ordered, they'll be able to get their commission that they, whatever specific that they had ordered. So in this case, this is Starfall Original number 1 or 5. This will have an acid etched plaque by Chris Skinner, and so whoever ends up picking this up, if they're just getting it as an empty, then I will have Chris ship that plaque to them. Chris has done several of these Starfall Elite crystal cores, which I'll show you. It has a fully removable all metal crystal core chassis in here, which is really intricate and cool. It has some mechanics to it as well. So if you choose to have Chris do the install, then I'll just ship this to him, and then he can ship the installed saber and the plaque to you. So it's got this cool blade plug. I have the Phil Guinness demo switches in here. So these will not come with the saber. You have your blade retention here. This here is going to be for the switch section PCB. There is some play in the hilt, so for when it's installed, it can be adjusted where the crystal core sits. So to ensure that when you screw on the pommel, it's going to engage those pins and nothing's going to rattle. Everything's going to be nice and secure. So I really like it's kind of like an understated design, kind of utilitarian with some obi flair to it. This beautiful copper baked enamel on here, and then when it's weathered, it almost has like a cork type look to it. Super comfortable to grip. You can grip up here. This little flare right here fits beautifully in the hand. So let's get to the Starfall Elite crystal core. So what I do have is a little spacer in the pommel right now, just so that if you wanted it empty, it's not going to be sliding around. It's just this little aluminum piece, and it has a rubber washer underneath it. So just be careful not to lose that. I didn't want to glue it in, obviously, because this will be like a printed spacer when it's actually installed. So here is the Elite crystal core for this one. This one's really cool. So you have a double-sided exposed crystal in the middle with some greeblies, copper rails, and then you have shine through for here. This will be the back side of the SD card. I was kind of envisioning this section being that holds the card being printed with like a clear resin, so that they can be all sorts of LED animations that shine through there. This is opposite of the removable battery, so you can get an LED strip here to illuminate. So this thing will be a lot of shine through, which will be really cool. Now, I wanted it also to have some mechanical aspect to it, so that if you want to access the board, you can do so. So it has a little J-lock on here. That comes off, so you'll be able to access the SD card here, and possibly the on-off switch in here as well. I'll kind of leave that up to the installer. And then this, I also wanted this to have a removable battery as well, so you can get access on this side to when the chassis is printed and fitted. It will have to take a smaller battery. Those are getting more popular these days because of space requirements, and they still pack a punch, but you can buy a bunch of them, and if you're at a con, you can, continue to pop them in and have a working saber. Now, this won't have a chassis that slides out of this. It'll be fixed in here since you have access to the battery. And it can have a fully enclosed 24mm speaker. However, there is play in this pommel with the spacer to have a 28mm speaker if you wanted. And then, the chassis that holds it can be decorative to fit the aesthetic of the crystal core. And then it would have to have like a spacer ring in the pommel here to push up against the outside of that 28mm. So that is possible to have. So you have a lot of options. And your covers go back on. So it just kind of gives like an extra little dimension of cool factor. Looks great with the covers on or off. And it just gives an extra little mechanical element to the Elite Crystal Core. You have a 7/8 inch blade plug. And so again, this set screw will hold a switch chassis, which will, because of the diameter change, it will go down through here with the PCB that'll be installed up here. And again, you have play so that you can get it right where you want it. And then, so this will act as a switch chassis that also has the blade side PCB here. So you have about a 2.5 inch, 7/8 inch blade socket. So you could definitely probably medium duel with this. I wouldn't recommend hard dueling with any sort of crystal chamber saber, but so there you have it. This is Starfall Original number 5 with a Starfall Elite Crystal Core. Of course, it's a 1 of 1, never to be repeated. And this will be going for $17.95 empty, which basically breaks down to, I charge $1,200 for the Elite Crystal Cores, and then I just priced the hilt as what I usually do, like for my one-offs, which I think is $5.95. So there you have it. You can hit me up on Messenger or email if you want to secure this via PayPal to avoid fees. Otherwise, it's going up on Etsy at 10 a.m. today, Pacific Standard Time. So thanks so much for watching, and I'm going to get back to building. May the force be with you.